This is Eric Alexander, Six Arrows Consulting. Think for a moment with me about a time you've been on the receiving end of some communication that made you frustrated. Maybe it was something that came in the mail where the font was hard to read. I'm finding myself more and more sensitive to that. Or maybe even if you could read the words, it was full of jargons, full of acronyms, or the sentence structure was awkward, or it ran on and on and on. Think about boilerplate at the bottom, the fine print at the bottom of a lot of documents. Or maybe it's also a conversation. Maybe there's too much background noise or somebody's mumbling, or sometimes communication is frustrating to us because it's not clear. So let's talk today about clarity. As I work with leaders and leadership teams, we're talking about leadership, stewardship, accountability. Clarity is an important part of all of that because communication is a vital aspect of all of that. As a steward, I can't be an effective steward if I don't know what I'm responsible for. If I don't know who I'm accountable to, I need clarity about both of those. As a leader, one of the things I'm responsible for is making sure my team has clarity about our direction. It's not enough just for us to go execute. What are we going to execute on? Where are we going? We need to know clearly where we're going before we set out. And then think about accountability, that feedback structure that's part of stewardship and leadership. How did we do? How did I do? How did my team do? How's the company doing? All of those discussions, clarity is vital. Maybe it could be this. Maybe it's you're having that employee performance discussion with one of your staff. They need clarity on how they did. Good news and bad news. I think it's really important in any of those conversations that they're both 100% truthful and 100% respectful. And we can do both. We have to work at it, but we can do both. Clarity is part of that. It's definitely part of the truthfulness. If I just beat around the bush, if I try to be diplomatic and let them know, dang it, you've really got to pick up your game, and they leave thinking everything's fine, I've failed. I've not helped them grow. I've failed the organization. I've failed the employee. I've failed as a steward leader. I need to be clear. Now, I still need to be kind, but frankly, clarity where they leave knowing what did I really do well? Where do I need to pick my game up? That's also part of being 100% respectful. Or maybe it's as simple as this. You're walking out of the boardroom and a fellow executive pats you on the back and says, "Attaboy, good job, Eric, with that presentation in there." Well, does that really tell me anything? Maybe a little glow of appreciation that I feel appreciated or acknowledged. What would be more helpful is some concise, they don't have to ramble on, but conciseness of, Eric, you did a good job in there keeping it concise. Your explanations were clear. You didn't ramble on and on like you normally do, and you helped make the numbers intelligible. Good job. Thank you for that. Now, do I need that every time? Not necessarily. But that's clearer, that's more valuable information than an attaboy slap on the back that could really just mean, gosh, I'm glad I didn't have to talk in front of the board today. Clear doesn't have to be long and detailed. What's best is clarity that's also concise. So I want to share with you a quick story that illustrates some importance of clarity. This is out of a book by Robert Gates. And I lost the page number, so bear with me just a minute. Here we go. Robert Gates was Secretary of Defense for the United States. He was also Director of Central Intelligence and then President of Texas A&M University. And he has a book called A Passion for Leadership, where he talks in here about communication and clarity. So let me read you just a little bit. It's unfortunate when the big boss's intentions are unclear. No one is encouraged to ask for clarification, and people proceed blindly to try to be responsive to what they imagine or guess is the real issue or question. A leader must encourage clarifying questions, and his answers must be direct and convincing. There's a famous story of the FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover writing in the margin of a memo, quote, "Watch the borders," close quote. As a result, a number of agents were dispatched to the Mexican and Canadian borders. When this was reported to Hoover, he furiously informed the person briefing him that his note had been referring to the size of the margins on the original memo, not the country's geographic boundaries. It's humorous, makes us laugh, but think about the times we can fail in our leadership as stewards when we're not clear. Let's do a good job as steward leaders. Let's be clear, hopefully on this topic. I've been at least a little bit clear today. It's something to think about. Thanks for listening.